Okay, my name is Steve Alden. I live within the district. Had a number of children and now grandchildren going through the district and such. And the reason that I wanted to come here tonight was basically to, maybe it's a little different than anybody else who's going to chat, but I've had meetings in the past couple of weeks with Michelle Mussman, with Ann Gillespie, with Tom Morrison. I found out today that Dan McConaughey, state senator, is going to be working on a property tax from the Republican side down in Springfield. And what I really want to do is, I understand that the system is broken, property taxes, for example. I understand why you guys do the levy that you do. We talked about that extensively with Ann Gillespie, myself, and Ann. And she wants to redo a good piece of business. I'm very interested who from the district is working with all of these different people down in Springfield, because I think we have to resolve this. Why do we have to resolve this? As I was telling you before, I have 3 houses on my block that are empty now. There were 4, one family moved into one of the empty houses. It's a big problem because the value of the houses is going down. Even though the assessments are going up, the value's going down because the taxes are just outrageous. So we're in a catch-22 here. 2/3 of my taxes are because of school districts, park districts, etc. And yet, even though you guys are the most local to my house, at the same time you're charging the most, and I'm no longer getting the value that I used to get when I add people within the district. So the catch-22 here, the jump the shark moment, the tipping point moment, is when I'm no longer getting the value from the school district, but it's costing me more for that no value. And that's the tipping point for a lot of people that don't have children in the district anymore, don't have any idea, as I might be misinformed as to why you're doing what you're doing, why you have such a huge reserve, why you're taking more and more money each year, because my taxes are going up each year. So the communication is a problem. The system is broken. That's a problem. I don't know what you guys are doing to help fix that system and how we can do that together with the community as well as the school district. What I see, my perspective, is that every year the taxes go up, the salaries go up, and I'm getting less value in return. So, from my perspective, the budget committee is where it all begins, right here. Because you guys are the ones that are basically putting all the pieces of the puzzle together. I want to make sure that you have the input from the community, not just from the parents, not just from your teachers, but the other stakeholders that are in this. People are moving out like crazy. Michelle Mussman told me, I can't quote her, but she told me that we don't have to worry about this because our school district is so good, everybody wants to move in. I said, there's 3 empty houses on my block. Who's moving in? She didn't have an answer for that. And I think it's going to get worse and worse and worse. Everybody I talk to wants to move away from this situation. So that's it. I don't think I took 5 minutes, but that's all I had to say.
Thank you.
Okay. My name is Robert Mandrella, and I'm a Palatine resident. I live in downtown Palatine District. I've been a resident since 1997. One of the reasons I did move here to Palatine is the promise of good schools. I have not followed up since I have not yet started my own family. That's a yet. But I did review my tax bill, and what got me on this trail was 2016. I looked at 2016 to 2017. I saw about a 33% increase, give or take, on my taxes, which really opened my eyes. So I reviewed my current tax bill, second installment for the year, and I noticed that, as this gentleman had pointed out earlier, I believe his name is Steve, he said 2/3 of our taxes are going for schools. I have no problem with the other part of my tax bill. It seems reasonable. But I live in a condominium association. We had a meeting last month, well attended, and the issue of taxes came up. Several residents, and there was a lot of concern there. There was one lady, a retired teacher, who said, oh, the reason for the tax increase, it's for the schools. So I did a little bit of digging in on this, and all I can find on District 211 and SD 15, I believe that is, yeah, SD 15, which is Palatine, is most recently was in the Palatine, or the Patch, which ranked, if you will, the top 50 Illinois high schools. Now, this is just the Patch. I don't know about other rankings that are out there, but in District 211, Conant was 29, Schaumburg was 38, Hoffman Estates was 47. Palatine did not make the grade in the top 50, period. So, what am I paying for? And that's the question. So this lady has, you know, being a retired lady, I understand she's kind of out of touch, but what are we paying for 2/3 of our taxes when we can't make the top 50? And I'm a well-educated man. I'm a businessman. As this gentleman had pointed out, I'm looking at moving businesses out of Illinois, not into Illinois. It's just concerning. So the question back to the board is why? Why is this going on? You know, where is the transparency? Where's the results? And why the higher taxes? So I understand your salaries, your pensions, etc. But, you know, we do have this levy fund that's very well funded. I know how that process works because I dug into it. Maybe we just solicit the governor and say, because we're not getting the results, we could put that money to use somewhere else, you know, because this is our money. It's not just a money sitting in a fund. It's like, you know, special assessments, special reserve funds that we have in our condo board. We use that to improve the building, like the roof, the elevator, you know, the building in general, aesthetics. But where is this money going to and why? I mean, you know, if the results were there, I have no problem with the very well six-figure salaries with pensions that are going up. But I just don't see it. You know, it's been going on for years. So as this gentleman had pointed out, Steve, you know, we look at it, people are moving out, we get a bigger burden, and it's just, question comes back to why. With that, I'll leave it.
My name is John Parker. I live in Schaumburg. And I'm here basically to say the same thing that these guys are saying. High taxes are literally forcing people out of their homes. The value of homes in Schaumburg, my house isn't worth what it was worth in 2008. Yet District 211's budget continues to soar. You said something about where does all this money go? I think it was over an 8-year period where District 211 spent nearly $100 million on what I call mostly nice to have unnecessary capital improvements. Updated swimming pools. Now we're talking about expanding the auditoriums. Well, while people are losing their homes, do you want to expand your auditorium? I mean, how do you sell that to the group? In this last recent election, one board member who got the most votes out of anybody never voted once for a property tax increase. He got the highest amount of votes. We have another gentleman sitting right here that beat an incumbent, and his whole platform was not to raise taxes. I mean, it has to mean something. It's the community. These elected school board members are here to represent us, not what you personally feel, what you want with your school because your kids go there, but you're here to represent everybody. I've been talking to people and following the school board for 11 years. The only thing I could say after the 11th year is it's worse now than when I first started. I asked people in businesses, the donut shop across from the Schaumburg Library, everybody, pizza places, how do you feel about your taxes? You know, schools take all your money, yeah, and it's, a lot of bad words come out. It's unfortunate. I think you have to revisit your tax levy and your levy extension. You keep socking away money, putting it in reserves, and as Mark pointed out here a while back, I think it's done intentionally to bypass community input. In other words, you take all our money, you put it in a reserve, you fund your capital improvement projects that you personally feel you think would be good without any input from the community. And there's another thing I'd like to see you stop. I'm losing my train here. Oh, I'll leave it at that. If I remember later, I'll let you know. But thank you very much, and please vote no on any levy or levy extension increase. Thank you.
I'm Mark Wachowski, resident of Schaumburg. Referendum avoidance. I've mentioned this before. A little bit of history on that topic. Back in 2005, or starting in 2005, is what the district started to practice, since several referendums were voted down by the residents. So they developed a technique or process or strategy where they allow the surplus to build up, through levy extensions and taxing, levying to the max, whatever the strategy was. So it built up what I'm going to call the slush fund. It may sound a little mean, but that's exactly what it is. And reflecting some of the comments made by the audience here, is these nice to have projects. So I got to ask is, okay, so let's say you build pools, this, that. I've heard comments saying it's for the improvement of our education for our students, etc. Show me the numbers. Show me where we're building a bigger auditorium. Prove those points. Show me we're putting new swimming pools in here. Increase our kids' GPAs. Increase the qualifications for college. Increase our SAT exam results, etc. Demonstrate the evidence that building, spending $30, $40 million on this project, that project, when the old pools or whatever was there was perfectly fine, and you go off and spend all this money on it's nice to have. So the key thing here is referendum avoidance. To go back to the community and basically say, look, we want to put 5 new swimming pools in. We want to spend $30-some-odd million. What does the community think about this? You think it's worthy to do, and they would challenge the board members in the district to demonstrate the worthiness of that. But you go off and did this whole referendum avoidance, i.e. levy to the max, levy extension to the max, build up your reserves, $100+ million, and then decide amongst yourself, well, I think this is cool, let's put a new this, that, whatever in there, and does it really improve the educational results of our children? That's the key question to ask yourself. Honestly and sincerely think deep and hard about that. As was reflected by the community here, homes are emptying out. I'm considering moving out of state. I'm almost retired. I'm forced out of my company through early retirement. And I'm thinking this is getting kind of expensive here, and what I'm going to be making from social or from 401ks, it's a little tight to manage at this point. So I might be forced to hop the border, go somewhere else. So those are considerations and reflecting a lot of general themes here. You're all sitting here all happy and smug, and yeah, boom, boom, rubber stamping everything administration presents to you, but really think back the benefit that all these capital improvements and results of your strategy to avoid referendums for expensive projects has resulted on the community. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Bobby Sloan. I live in Schaumburg, and I've been here since 1980. I have no children, never had any children. I'm retired. Guess what? I get Social Security, and I'm supposed to be able to live on that. Hi. Would like to know a couple things. One is, you were going to be transparent. Where's the transparency? And, okay. And I would like to know, Dr. Cates, for $269,000 a year, do you really need that kind of money? I live on a whole lot less than that, and that it's just wrong. It's, how do we do that? How do we justify giving you that kind of money? It's not a 9-to-5 type job, whatever it is. That's just wrong. I don't understand not having transparency and why are we overpaying everybody?
Okay, very good, thank you.
One child in D54 and one in 211. So I'm not too chatty. Let me just start with, you guys are being kind of chewed out and people are mumbling and grumbling all the time. Wouldn't it be easier for you if you just did something to make everybody stop complaining and making your job difficult and you all looking like the bad guys. You're not. That's why you were all voted in, because I think it would just be a nice thing for you. Just do what we voted you all to do for us. Do you all live here too, in this community? Okay, I'm gonna start with my third one, because I'm seeing everyone looking at me. I'd like the board to make a new rule as soon as possible, that you must answer questions from us when we ask them. Not in email, not on a phone call, not in, there are caveats, that if there's something extremely personal, or a FOIA or something, sure you can. But it's kind of casual. When people are asking you a question, I would smack my kids if they just stared and didn't respond to an adult. So when somebody asks a question, do you think you can make it part of the rule to reply? Maybe you have to huddle and see if everybody's on the same page, but that was going to be my last thing, but I saw it going on every time someone asked a question. We just got, you know what it looks like from here? It's deer in headlights from everybody. And I think each of you want to say something. Is there a rule, this is a question, is there a rule that you cannot answer us?
And they won't answer that either.
No, really, no, I'm not being facetious. Is there a rule that prohibits the adults to answer other adults or students that are here?
District 14 does it.
When you're finished, when you leave, remember what Mr. Cohen.
No, I'm asking,
You and respond to you.
you can talk to each other? Because you can tell people that they've talked too long, you can tell people to leave, you can tell people something's inappropriate. So can you answer questions like I'm asking? Is there a rule that says you cannot answer a question immediately?
Yeah, I can answer it. Well, you should-
Okay, is that on?
That's your answer.
Is that,
I guess not.
okay, my first concern really was everything comes up with money, money, money. Mine is the school registration fees, lab fees, sports fees. I hear from people that you have 60, 80, $100 million. Is that true? I'd like an answer to that too. Is it true there's a lot of money? I would like to know the details put out so we don't have to hunt for it. I'd like that put out, easy to find online, do a couple keywords, or sent to everybody's home. I'd like to know the details of the policy. We'd like an itemized accounting and the demographics of who paid the registration and all these other fees, which families do. Not by name, but how many don't and why? Are some of us making up for money that others are not paying, or is everybody required to pay at least a certain amount? Okay. When that is collected, all that information and totaled, how much money is collected per school, how much money is collected per district from all these registration fees, where does the money go, each and every dime, where does it go, why, and can things be perhaps renegotiated to get a better value for what we're paying? $170 for my kid, and then she's not doing some stuff with labs. She's not doing a sport this year. So I'd like to know where the money's going, and I'd like that to be official, and I'd like it to be put out there, sent to everybody's home in the districts, so that we know. Last, if I have any, do I have time still?
2018.
Oh my God.
Oh, they can answer.
Wow.
Okay, so you have just now showed me that you can answer questions, so I find it rather frustrating and rude when the answers are
Absolutely.
not forthcoming. Okay. I know for a fact, mine?
Thank you.
Yep.
Did you want to leave your phone number?
About property taxes. A lot of people in our community very frustrated about property taxes. Yeah, you don't have a lot of people here tonight, 5:30 is a really tough time for people to come. They're coming home from work. Honestly, a lot of people, they just feel it's completely useless to come here. They tell me, what's the point? You know, what they're doing instead, they're planning their exit strategy. They're going to states that have lower property taxes but still manage to have schools, really good schools, roads, all the things. But for some reason, the other states manage to have much lower property taxes and their schools manage to function on less money while still delivering quality education. And there's over 300 people net. There's over 300, more than 300 people who leave our state every single day, but subtracting the people who come in, over 300 every single day are leaving our state. And as Steve said, there are lots of empty homes. For a lot of people, their property taxes are now more than their mortgage payment. That's just, it is for us. It's ridiculous. People are losing their home value. In Cook County, home values are down 31% still since 2007. Nationwide, they're only down 5%. But in Cook County, home values are down 31%, yet our taxes keep going up. There are many homes for sale in my neighborhood, and the prices these people are asking for their homes is really scary. There's a lot of people, myself included, who aren't going to get a public sector pension that goes up 3% every year. We are counting on our homes for our retirement, and it's really scary. Taxing bodies need to realize they can't keep raising taxes every year just because you can and just because someone has convinced you it's the right thing to do. I'm sorry, but that person or those people, whoever it is, who keep telling you every year to raise the taxes, they live in a bubble, and they aren't in touch with the frustrations of this community, and maybe they're just talking to people who have no problem paying their taxes. But it matters, balance matters for everybody at every income level in our community. Our community isn't just for the wealthy who have no problem paying these exorbitant property taxes. Everybody matters. People who work in the private sector matter. Now, you may want to ignore that, but without a healthy private sector, the public sector suffers too. And again, balance between private sector and public sector matters. The private sector, when they want to do something, they have to figure out where to get the money. Public sector, you just say, no, we'll just go back to the taxpayers. We aren't an endless piggy bank. We can't afford it anymore. Stop raising the levy. You don't need the money. You've got plenty of a rainy day fund. You've been overtaxing us for years. You need to live within the means that we've provided, and those means have been very, very, very generous. Enough is enough. Thank you.
I'm Schomburg. I'm being forced to move because you're constantly raising taxes. I honestly told you I don't like you guys. I voted for Mark and Pete because they're for us. They try to fight for us. And I'll turn it over to John because I'll say things I won't answer.
Mr. Parker, I think you already had your
I understand.
time, so.
Seeing as this is informal, this will be really quick. I would like the board to stop saying that raising the tax levy, if you don't raise it, that's money you can never recover. I've heard it here several times. It's just not true. You can get your money back with a referendum. The people that can never recover their money is everybody here. We can never recover it, but you can get it back with a referendum. You've said you're debt-free several times. I see it all over the place on your board meetings and everything else, but I looked at the Cook County Treasurer's office, and you're not debt-free. Did you look at your pension debt? And finally, he said our schools were ranked 50th, but there's a national ranking that's done by a site on a volunteer basis or a nonprofit basis that ranks District 211 at 158th in Illinois. If we're not getting our money's worth, I have to agree, either step it up and rank in the top 10 or stop raising everybody's taxes. Thank you.
Budgeting, the better it is for everybody else. So I think that we do continue to make improvements in our budgeting process year to year to tighten things.
Thank you. Then on of the page 1 of, I think it's the all funds worksheet. It's at the bottom, tentative budget. Am I reading this correctly, that the ending fund balance increased by $16 million?